a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, Sha'reTahlai'ah also, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests, and I have a guest who comes on, and we have lots of fun. So that's Jenny Lee, of course. Let me bring her on. Now, I've been having some technical difficulties with my show here, so if it's a little different than usual, that's why. I think we'll see what happens, but let me make Jenny big if I can. Welcome, Jenny. You're on.
How's it going?
It took me off completely, but oh well. I don't care.
Well, it'll be okay. Just switch back and forth. I don't know. It's just the settings on Restream. I'm just
everything changed for some reason. But anyway,
I'll check mine.
It is what it is. So
right.
we can go and we'll see if there's any questions in the chat. Welcome, everyone. I'm happy that you're all here. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk a little bit about black plasma. But Jenny's also going to talk about the Vatican and some more information that she has in that regard. And black plasma is a rather interesting thing. I was going to try to bring up a picture, but I don't know if I can.
You can try and see what it does.
Let me see. This picture kind of shows. Oh, there, good. Now we're both on. Anyway, I'm sure you've heard of the black cube. Basically, it's condensed black plasma, which is not good stuff by a long shot. It acts like a central node, and it's condensed black plasma, and it's like a hard drive that actually projects fear and time loops and artificial darkness. So it's and it spreads out in the field, and it tends to put a mist out there that kind of coats your thread-like connection, your golden connection to source. It gets on that, and it kind of makes it harder to perceive things correctly. It delivers all kinds of dark programs, like people that can get caught up in a nightmare loop where they're having nightmares all the time. And that's probably most likely the result of this black plasma delivering dark programs. It hides the truth. It weakens the threads and dulls our perception. It makes humans easier to manipulate through fear. Without it, and once it is gone, the parasites have no place to hide anymore. And humanity will get back into an easier and more direct connection with source without this junk around. So that's pretty much all I really have to say about that, Jenny. There wasn't a whole lot on it, but it's not good stuff. It's the way that they have managed to control us, and I believe it's an alien substance as well. And you can do meditations to clear it. And you were talking about something in that regard, weren't you?
Yeah. So the thing is, it feeds off the fear, like anything. And this is how you know within the body, is because when you're in anger, when you're in, where you're taken in your extra anger for a situation in which you normally think you shouldn't be. And that's the thing. before it seemed like you would have bad dreams, and maybe 3 years ago, and then it seemed like there was just a force that would feel like it had a little more control over it with you, and push you in a more of a negative direction. And now it seems like it's breaking down, but still that loosh. We see ourselves. A lot of people just see ourselves as this human, and they don't see what the human voice, the frequency, our energy puts out, and that's what they work off of and have always worked off of. It's the same thing as, like the adrenochrome. I mean, what it does. Look at the adrenochrome, what it does, and it's the fear, okay? And that's an energy. This is another side of this, of fear, to bring in the loosh. It's a substance that the negative loves. It's like their drug in a different way. So now there's been stuff that's happened. You're seeing it in the sky, making circle motions, because before it was so low on the earth, it was everywhere. And now these circles that you see, these dark circles, that's loose. It's not knowing where to go with all this now. So, and that's what I talked about. When the energy and the frequency changes on earth, then that's no longer here. It dissolves, but it's going to keep feeding off. And this is where you see the left losing their minds over this process of, very direct demonic energy spewing out negativity, death to anybody in there. There's nothing there. There's nothing in the eyes. It's all checked out. They mean what they're saying because they've gave into the negative side so much. And we can't fathom, no empathy, no sympathy, or anything for an animal or a human being, or compassion of someone dying. It is exit building in many ways. And so I'm going to tell you this week, or that you're seeing, and they said they're going to take as many as they can with them in the negative way. This is always about a spiritual war. So this is where you have to contain yourself and have control over your emotions and not feed into it, because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to trigger you. And that's that whole thing about staying strong, hold the line, and just keep yourself at that calm moment, even though it's like you're being tested. And to me, the way that I handle this is when everything collapses, when everything is done, I'm just going to be in this somber energy and saying, okay, eventually it's just got to end. That's all. And you don't allow it to feed off of your fear, because that is what they've always programmed on TV, on everything else, is about feeding fear. And the best thing that you can do in this situation, when you're seeing a lot of fear, just think of love. Love, 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 and do the opposite. And do the complete opposite of everything. Do the love. Focus on love, on that level of that, because that is the opposite of what they want. So you see something that's very fearful, you go into that love process. You go into that heart of pushing your heart out. And that's not saying you're pushing it out to them, but you're putting that love around you, saying, I'm not going to be triggered. I'm going to balance myself and stay in that frequency of Holy Spirit, holy light.
All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. This is the only way I can get us both on the screen. It's funny. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, love is like poison to them. It's like their kryptonite.
It is. And they prefer everybody to be in fear and create chaos and war. And that's the whole thing right now. Is just, you don't have to feel anything. But if you do, just go inside and stay in that somber place and that stillness and be quiet in the mind and just look at this as, this is what has to happen. This is a collapse. We're good. Just don't be triggered by it, because that's what they want. And you're going to see a lot of that from the left. I mean, literally people are just going to be like, I'm just going to pitch a tent out front, watch everybody, watch my neighbors lose their mind. literally, because the whole
Well, we have people out there acting like they're animals now and pretending they're a cat and going in a cat box. I mean, I can't believe some of the stuff that some people are doing out there. It's really bizarre. True insanity is manifesting, and a lot of the information related to that has come out that they have. I did a little short video earlier today about them, all these things that they said were conspiracy theories for people that got the jab and all that kind of thing, that it really is affecting people in the ways that, we heard long ago, but now they're actually, it's being verified.
Right.
And there's not, they can't hide it anymore. And as more and more of this, black plasma stuff is removed and it's in the process, and the less stranglehold and fear hold they have over people. And once people get on board with connecting directly to source, it's just going to disintegrate, and we're going to get, it'll be amazing what can happen then. And nothing can stop what is coming, because the energy, it's happening. People are increasing their resonance and so on, in their heart field.
So I think this is where it takes, what you've been taught as a child, what you believe in, how you really see God, how you really have faith in him. And it's leading up to this point. This point shows your trueness of what you believe in, that protects you. And that was always going to be tested at the very end. So, and at the end of how you handle this situation is going to make you understand your faith. To me, nothing's going to surprise me on any situation anymore at all. So what I'm saying is, if you just hold yourself in love, hold yourself in light, hold yourself on, holding the line. And you have to tell yourself, we saw this coming. We knew this was coming. This is part of the transformation. Just let it happen. As it starts, there'll be an end to the situation. That's the whole thing that matters. So this next week, there's going to be so many trigger points for everybody. And I'm telling you, the biggest trigger point is the banks. If something happens with the banks, they're going to go, it's just going to trigger panic. So you just got to get into a calm place with that. Don't do what most are going to do, freak out over one thing, or, they're just going to, if there's something bad that's going to happen with the bank, we know what bank that's going to be, and that's Bank of America. So you know that's the one. So you got triggers like that. You got the Bank of America, and then buildings just being locked down, locked out. Okay. And then them putting in a curfew in some of these 17 cities. And then you're going to see more helicopters, more drones, more stuff happening. So it's slowly getting to that process. But most with the military ops and stuff like that, it happens overnight, and everything's established by the morning time. So the thing is, it's just, what can you do now? And just stay in that calmness process, because this is something that just has to happen, and then let it happen, and it'll be over. You don't add to the chaos and go into panic on this process, because there's really no one you can run to in the situation. You just got to listen to the military when they are accessible to inform you. And like I said, the military, when it gets to a certain point, you're going to have 4 generals who'll be on the news informing you what state and where to go and where to get supplies and what you can do. That's all you can do. So, and this is what I tell people. Remember what you came from. Remember, we were all supposed to be in camps, FEMA camps, and all this stuff was supposed to happen to us. And, they were going to kill off half of us. You made it through that. We're here now. This is just the end this other process that has to happen. So this is part of dismantling the negative, and they're in little pods, and you're going to see that. So they're working off the negativity. So I'm saying this week, don't go into that. Don't go into panic. Just be calm with the situation.
Just expect it. Don't let it. Don't even let it bother you. Somebody's asking, do you think, Jenny, that next week the banks will collapse only in the U.S. or also the rest of the world?
Well, I've heard some banks that are already collapsing in different countries and stuff like that. I think Australia is, they're actually asking people, what do you need the money for? And, so it's like,
Oh my God,
whose money is this? What do you need the money for? And all this, I'm like, people keep acting that way. That is going to get people shot in banks. I'm just saying. So when it starts to contain or control, and what you see, there's another country, and I can't think of it, where it was, they cut off all their internet, all the media, and they overthrew the government. Oh. And I can't remember. Yes, they overthrew them, completely annihilated them, removed them, and because they cut off. I'm sure somebody in chat knows what country it is. I'd have to go back and look at it, but they overthrew them. It was like when in a 24-hour span, that was it on the situation. So how this collapse comes in, you're going to see people react in different ways. So you have to put yourself in those scenarios, how you're going to react to each situation, and be in a calm process through this. Don't be triggered. And like I always said, they always showed me 3 days through this process. It's just, you're camping down, some lights might go out, some internet might go out. It's going to roll through because as they have to isolate certain areas, but you're going to have to look at that beforehand and get yourself in a situation where you can handle it before it happens. And then you'll breathe yourself through it, as in breathing, And so everybody's like, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? I guarantee you now, people are like, when's it going to be over? That's what's going to happen next. It's like, you wanted it to start. This is what has to happen to get to this stage of things.
Exactly.
So we can take some questions if you want to do that.
Let's see if we got any. Does anyone out there have any questions? Now's the time to ask them.
So
Q said, somebody's asking, Q said a smooth transition. Why would we need supplies? Well,
it is, and that's why I say it's only 3 days. This is what I'm telling you. Everything, all the true food that's been in the ground in these underground systems for a long time, that they planted, did everything, been living down there for years and years and years and years, putting millions of dollars underneath everything. All that they're going to surface. So I'm wondering, all this, what they built under the ground, and these kingdoms, as they call them, and how the rich was going to live underground, how they're going to use them for humanity in the future. And I'm like, hey, homeless, just saying.
How does that feel, eh?
Yeah. So as like the lawyers, the accountants, the doctors, all this stuff that you had to take a bar exam, and all these medical exams that you had to take, all these people have gone training and gone through all this process. That is not going to mean anything anymore. And that's why your skills in life, as you were taught as a kid, and how you learn to adapt to things, to build things, to create things, to survive. Let me tell you, women right now, they want the alpha males right now. They're going to protect. I'm just saying, because It's time. If you haven't picked up a hammer, or if you haven't figured out these certain things, you need to be learning it right now. Survival is key because it's our natural instinct to survive, but you have to learn these skills. So because society has made everybody think the phone, the government, everything's going to take care of you, you have to think of skills that you have that you can survive in. Fishing, nature, all that stuff. You can't be in fear of it. So it's just changing in that process of things. So that's going to kick in this situation if it gets to a certain point. So I think in the way the world is now, with the technology that we have, it's not going to be that bad. Everything is observed, everything is seen from a far view and a close view. And so that's why they have to come out with these guidelines before everything gets into a process. The big key with this is when you move, all the military are in the 17 cities and they are established. What does that tell you? We're ready to go. Because they don't want chaos. They've been fighting this war in a very smooth way with less casualties. And that's what they're moving it through on this process. This is the biggest thing that I want to be paying attention in the next week. Trump, when he gets back from the UK, because there was all kinds of stuff going on with that dinner and the symbolism that they were showing you, who is actually running the world right now, and what they have humiliated them to show them that they are not in charge anymore. So I expect these new laws start to be implemented next week. You start to see change. Like I said, doesn't mean anything. I could say all I want, but until you see it come to pass.
Yeah, it's my understanding from what I read and listened to that there aren't any, all the Admiralty laws, all that stuff is gone technically, but they will continue to practice it as if it's not, because that's just the way they think it's supposed to be, I guess. I don't know. But
you wait till they start to tell you where to go online and how you're supposed to get your birth certificate funded back to you. Now that's going to be a whole different shit show on so many levels.
Well, Mathis is saying here that some are saying the Zim bonds and the Vietnamese dong, etc., will not be revalued. This was just a psyop. Can you confirm or deny that?
That what?
That the revaluation, the reset of currencies is just a psyop.
I'd be wondering where he got that information. Because as we go into the golden age, like I told everybody, it's going to go down, and that's when everybody's going to flip out because everything goes down. Everything shuts down. Stock market, everything shuts down, and then the next day everything goes back up. When it goes back up, it's the ones that are legit. This is the stock market. There's so many criminals involved in that whole situation. You know, they have to go to the new standard and to the standards of the republic now, and the sovereignty. Everything has to be implemented. So that's why I said all our accounts are copied in a ditto account behind with everything. So this is the thing, you know, there's so many people have, drawn the map of where all the money's coming from, what's going on. And I just say, you want to watch everything, keep an eye on the debt clock. It's been telling you, it's been right in your face telling you what's coming. And still people are like, well, this ain't real. Well, that debt clock is as real as it gets on information of telling you where your money is being spent, what they're doing with it, how they're advancing, what they're saving with it. So you need to be watching that and where that's going. And that's just the start of showing you. I think that whole platform is going to be a new, higher understanding of technology that's going to be brought in, because there's going to be a lot more sources of money and how they're giving back to humanity and what they're going to do, and how they're funding the elders and the vets and all that stuff. It's all going to be separated. So the thing is, people have put in hours and thousands of hours in on this, organizing this, doing this, implementing this. And, and I think people need to have a little more patience when they the thing flips a little. It's just like, gosh, please just be courteous. Don't go crazy. Don't get upset because it's not working. It's not functioning. And this is a whole brand new system the whole world is tapping into and using and implementing. And it's just, that's when we got to hold ourselves going, just be a little more humble in this process. Don't go into the panic process. I know we don't like bakers. They have screwed us all over. But
yeah. It's like you said, stay in that love
their
mode.
stages are pushed out too. That's going to be nice. Go ahead.
If you catch yourself getting really upset or whatever, taking 3 deep breaths to the count of 4, holding it 2, and then letting out slowly to the count of 6. You do that 3 times, and you'll be amazed at how much it calms you down. And if you have the opportunity to go out into nature, that's another way of changing your whole state of being. If you're upset or you feel like you're getting upset, that kind of thing.
Well, somebody's asking. Go ahead. If I had a choice to be in a cabin in the hills when this happened, I would. I'd be coming down another year after.
Yeah, hey, same here. Same here. Let's go find one. Okay. Do you think the government will shut down on 10/30? Somebody's asking that. The end of October.
No, I don't think it's going to be that way. I don't think it's going to be in a 3D way.
Do we even have a government now?
Well,
I wonder.
So the 3D government, in the way they've been dismantling and bringing in new, how do you say the word? New programs in new ways and new forms with new people. I mean, that's the whole thing they've been really working on. So I think the shock of that, because you have to look back. I mean, you could tell that the history of the way the government has been ran is not working. And so why would we stay on that path? Because we know it hasn't worked in a long time. And you can't trust what people are doing these days. They have to be looked at, and we have to cross the I's and dot the T's, and we can't look the other way on anything, on education, medical, or kids, everything. And so to me, there's no way that we're going to be staying in the same system, because it's not working effectively at all. So
it's never been working for humanity either. And that's what's got to flip too.
Implementing that, you would create a paranoid society on everything, especially if you give society money. They will be so paranoid, they won't trust anybody after this process on this situation. You got to look at what has happened to us. Genocide in a different way. They've raped us for everything, and you come out of that and you want to retrust again. It's just not going to happen if they run the government the same way. It has to be secured 100%, and you're going to have to show them how that's going to happen, and it's not going to be the same way. Regions, we're going to regions, and how I said Mexico, United States, Canada, Australia, one region. We have these, I think it's either 7 or 5 regions that they're going to come together. But, and that's why what you're going to see and what you need to pay attention to, these governments and foreign countries coming together in Washington and accumulating these bigger meetings. That's what you need to be paying attention to.
Somebody's asking if you've heard of Swan R2 coming in from space. I haven't.
No. This is the thing with all this stuff. It's being revealed, but you don't know what is real and what is fake.
And there's a lot of fake. Trust me.
Yeah. So all I can tell you with this, when you go outside and you see it with your own eyes, then you go, it's there. So if you hear a blue beam effect, if it's anything like Florida Mall, it's just not going to work.
So I mean, that 31 is it 31 Atlas? Yeah, that Atlas thing too. That's another one. Have you heard anything or read anything about that? I don't know.
I've seen a lot of stuff on the media, and I'm not really paying attention to that. So, because the way I see it is like, if I go outside and it's up there, good. That's the way I see it. Because I ain't gonna believe anything that the media says, especially CNN or any of it. But that's, again, in a process of fear that they're going to put out, to make it a negative situation if that actually occurred. So I'm just saying, best verification is you just go outside and see it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and they're quite capable of fooling you with things that aren't real in order to try to scare you. That's the biggest thing.
Well, as long as they got a screen to do it, if they have a screen, if they have TV, you have television. But if you didn't have that, you'd have to go through your own experience seeing it yourself.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, will the shutdown take only 3 days?
I think, and I've been said that. I think it's 3.
Yeah. Somebody else is asking, can you name the 17 cities for the people that do not? People that do not remember. Thank you.
Jeep can put them in the. I mean, we know that Denver, New York, L.A.,
Chicago.
What's the
Atlanta?
Yes, Atlanta is a big criminal process in that one. Phoenix, Arizona, that's one of them too. Oh, it's bad. I mean, Philadelphia, that's another one too.
Houston or Dallas, one of those.
Yeah.
Or both.
I mean, San Francisco, Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean, it's just not really seeing it in Montana. I'm not seeing it in North Dakota. I'm not seeing it in South Dakota. I'm not seeing that. Minnesota, holy shit, it's a shithole.
So it's seeping left and right. So is Arizona. That's a big reason why I left.
Yeah, Michigan. I mean,
the corruption runs deep.
Right, Connecticut. Boston. Holy shit. So there. I mean, so it's a lot of the East Coast, but there are some on the West Coast. But I mean, I'm not seeing Kentucky. I can tell you that. But Florida's got some too there. So these inner cities that we are kind of already know which ones they are. Oklahoma, I doubt it. So Nevada, Ohio, yes. So yeah, I mean Denver is not the town I was raised in. When I was raised there, my parents were in Commerce City, Colorado, and it was not the way it is now. And it was heart-wrenching to go through there because I have a ton of family there, and just to see how it is now versus the way I was raised, it's not the same. So it's crazy.
Somebody's asking, if there's a shutdown, how will the elderly get their meds?
Well, I'm sure they already have that backup plan, and that's what it had to do with isolation and lockdown and stuff like that. So I'm sure that they'll have that implemented. So because that is an important situation until we get to another process.
Okay, let me see. What else? Oh, here's somebody's listing the cities here for us here.
Okay, there you go.
All right. New York City, LA, Chicago, Philadelphia, DC, Houston, Nashville, New Orleans, Charlotte, San Francisco, Detroit, Seattle, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Baltimore, Boston, and Miami. Oh, we missed a couple of them, but we got most of them.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
yeah, and this is the thing when the military walks down the streets and they tell you to get in your house, they're not kidding. Don't go out and be nosy. Just let them walk through, isolate the area, either shut down with the internet or shut down with power, let them do what they need to do until they've walked through and accumulated the people that they need to accumulate.
And there's quite a few at that, and people will be surprised at some of the people
Right.
that, well, let's
Exactly.
see. What's this one here? Question, is this the scare event? Laura Loomer is saying that Al-Qaeda presence on U.S. soil, imminent multi-city Islamic terror attacks in police and first responder uniforms.
They can. Let me tell you about this. And this is what I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this across. The Islamic people think if they're going to take over a territory, you do not know. You have no idea what is been prepared for. There are people all over the United States that have been prepared for this type of scenario all their life. I mean, in a lot of states, they have their own dang guns piled, hundreds, thousands, bullets. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, one of my families, that's all they did. That's all. I mean, I can't tell you. It's just outrageous. So they are ready. So you are going to see Generation X in a different way. They're going to piss them off in a different way. Boomers, it's going to be out there. So I have talked to people, and they have been prepared for this all their life. They do not understand what's coming. We know this land. They do not. We know the climate. They do not. So go. I want to see them run through Kentucky. I want to see that. Or in the hills of North Carolina. Go ahead. Try it. So they're going to find out. That is the fuck around and find out situation there.
It sure is. Yeah.
So that's why they're in the cities, but they ain't out in the country. Cross that line, see what happens.
Somebody's bringing up the black cubes under Mecca, Manhattan, CERN, and Vatican. Very true. You were going to talk about Vatican. What did you want to bring up about the
So
Vatican?
when the Vatican, what's underneath the Vatican, there's layers of information. There are devices. They hid everything underneath there. And I mean, and there was been some major demonic stuff they hid for a long time. And see, when I first did the remote viewing on this, and I went back to one of the bigger Bibles that I have, and I looked at the landscape on everything with it, with another remote viewer. And it was really interesting because they put all these churches on top of everything and then piled everything underneath it. And they all showed me all these small doorways to all these areas and stuff like that. And I think people have seen where I had to do, it was very uncomfortable drawing this cave area, and in this one cave area was just one cup, and it was flipped upside down. And it's just all that has to be presented to the public, and all the information that they held from us, that the original writings, the original artifacts and stuff like that, because it was about control. So there's so much, and I would love to interview someone that's already been down there, because they would probably just tell you it's insane. I mean, that's why I'm just addicted to revealing the history that's been hidden in the ground, that we need to surface to the top so our kids can know the real history instead of the false history they have put in the education books and lied to us and programmed. So, and it's all in, they have them in just columns of glass plates in corridors. So everything was isolated, so no one could get to it. I mean, to contain something like that is got to say, it's got to be pretty powerful to go the extra steps that they have to contain everything. And I think the public way they're going to have to do it, they're going to have it in a memorial way that people can see this, read it for themselves, how they're going to re-educate people. It's going to be a different situation. But I think the scary part is all the demonic artifacts and stuff they have to bring to the surface. And this is the thing you want to know, and this is what I keep telling people, go look up the Devil's Bible. Who wrote the Devil's Bible? How that whole story happened. You know, Dirty Father, who wrote it. So anyway, because they're not wanting you to focus on stuff like that, you know, our history on that stuff that happened. So honestly, after all that's lifted out of there and they got everything out and the gold and everything else that's hiding underneath there, I think they should take a damn bomb and throw it and just blow that area up, because to have what they had underneath the Vatican, and I'm just saying it's just like
bones
some of these guns. Oh, it's
bones and skulls and
it's horrid. Bones
Absolutely.
everywhere. Bones that made walls.
Skull, yeah.
It's just
skulls.
horrid.
Oh, I've seen horrible pictures.
And you can't just throw that into society, because they're not going to accept that in that process yet. So it's a slow reveal that they're going to have to surface it. And the ones that want to seek it will be able to access it. And the ones that don't want to see that yet, they'll just like, I'm not ready for this yet. So
somebody saying about the Pope's serpent hall is so telling. It just looks so much like a serpent. Pope reptilian.
The first time I went in a Catholic church, I felt so uncomfortable. I just couldn't place that energy in feeling rejoiceful and pleasant. It just didn't sit with me well. It felt cold and isolated, and that's not how the Holy Spirit works.
No, not at all. Somebody's talking about what a time to be alive, to witness what's coming. That is for sure, and that's the proper attitude you need to have. They're going to try to. I did this show, and it didn't. I swear, I had so much interference. It was called Fear's Last Stand, because that's exactly what they're going to throw everything at us to try to get people in as much fear as they possibly can.
Right.
And I tried to get that out there, but there was a lot of interference, and hopefully that's going to be clearing pretty soon. But anyway, it really is, because they're going to throw everything at people to try to get them in fear. And that's when you got to take your 3 deep breaths, go out in nature, and just dance around.
Well, this is the thing too.
Have fun.
And this is where the core of yourself, where you actually have faith, is where you really need to implement that now. If there's ever a time to have the faith, it is now. Or to tune or to check into that belief that you have, because you're going to need that, because that's what's going to get you through this. So I'm just saying, whatever gives you that comfort, whether you're Christian or, Catholic or, well, I'm not going to say anything about the Catholics, but anyway, but, in the faith that you choose, that you feel that you find that peace, this is the time to say, what, I need to reflect on deciding what I feel I need to call in and feel safe with and feel that presence. So this is the time to take it to another level. So.
Well, one of the things is you don't really need a religion. All you need to do is connect directly to source.
Right.
That's all you really need to do.
But society is not at that phase. They're still in their process of what makes them feel secure in the way they see it first. So, and as long as that is positive in their heart and their way, I don't see a problem with that at all. And that's what their heart wants to be protected by.
That was a strange sound.
my dog. It's not my dog. It's the dog's next door.
Oh.
So, but yeah. So we can go into a couple more questions here.
I'm looking to see if there are any more here. Well, somebody's asking if Fort Knox was empty. Isn't it funny? They brought that up. Oh, let's see what's in Fort Knox, and then all of a sudden they dropped it. They shut up about it completely because there probably wasn't anything in there. Anyway, that's another one. Well, that's kind of interesting. Somebody is saying that Amanda Gray said she was taken under the Vatican and she could feel that Satan had walked there. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a negative, a strong negative energy.
I'm going to tell you guys about this experience. This is the thing that's important. If there's anything that I've told people right now, we're in the spiritual war that's happening. You're going to be revealed in the light and the dark. And this is where I'm telling you, you're going to see the darkness, because the darkness cannot stand in the light, and reflect in the light, and breathe in the light. And that is like, all you have to create is love and light in this process. And that is the one thing they don't want. And if you create that in the way, the vessel that you feel you need to do that, do it. Because at the end of this, we're all going to win and everything's going to be okay. And the pedophiles are going to be behind jail or hanging from a tree. So.
Let's see what else we got here. There's one. Let's see. Why do people expect Trump to help anyone until he is king of the financial world?
He is already the ambassador. And you can go back to Telegram, not even Telegram, Jeep knows. I did a video. I even asked Alexa, was it 3 years ago? And they said, yeah, he's the king. He's a shepherd. Like, what do you know? But I've been saying that for years, and I get more of the shepherd, because the shepherd leads the flock. And that's the whole thing. He led the flock to the right direction. And whether you put stones in front of him, we put swords in front of him, he still led us, and he led the people with having that process happen to him. So when he, on his first term, went all over the world, talked to all these countries, and this is what you have to understand, they were choosing him as the ambassador of this new function of this money situation. That's why I said, going to be president is something he's already been. So that whole process is what they're going to show you when it comes to the surface of everything. It's going to be a different situation.
It's not going to be admiralty law where he's a president, like it's a corporation. You have a president with corporation. It's not going to be that way anymore. In fact, that's already
some of this money goes all the way back to King David. And the elders were in charge of this. There had to be certain standards, which we could not be in a time of war. It had to be complete peace. That's what he's been trying to do, keep the peace. And they're trying to, and the left is trying to create it.
Somebody wants to know if Bo Pony is right about 924. You would have to tell us, New York, what he is saying about 924, because I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't watch media. I don't watch it. So you'd have to put it in my face.
Yeah, I don't know what he said. So if you tell us what he said, we might be able to. But, dates, I hate, you can't give dates. Every time you give dates, and nothing happens.
I don't do dates. Ever. Exactly. And that's the whole thing. I mean, you're seeing a lot of people I don't know. So
I don't know what he's saying about 924. So I'll take that one down.
I mean, you hear the 17th, you hear the 23rd, you just hear all these dates, and on
And then
It's a
never,
checklist. It's a
and never
checklist that
stands
needs
out.
to be done.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think we got time for one more question. And
Let's see. Here's a one question. What, in your opinion, is the best way to protect yourself from a dark, dark soul you have to have some contact with? Shielding.
boy, I could do a whole show on this. I could pull out books. Okay. One books I believe in and I don't have in front of me is Prayers That Rout Demons. Because you see and you talk about these prayers that people give you, the same prayers over and over. These are exact targets in areas of schizophrenia and all these other areas, how it attacks, what it goes after. So Prayers That Rout Demons, you can get it off at Amazon. I mean, there's also...
Oh, yeah, it's a video you listen to.
Let me pull a couple books. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, you can even put this video that she's talking about on, and you don't even, you just have it on a low grade. You can have, you don't have to actually hear it. It'll just, they'll hear it. That's what matters. So,
and this is the funniest thing is people don't understand how much most of my books are prophet manuals and stuff like this. So this is a good one. It is the Prophet Manual by John Eckhart. So, and it talks about warfare and how you're supposed to deal with it on many levels. This is another one. It is everything is in the biblical term is with seals. So this is we're talking about prayers that break curses, prayers that bring healing, and prayers that rout demons. John Eckhart, you got to go look at his stuff. It's amazing. He is a great, great, great prophet, great preacher. Then this is the Dictionary of Angels. It has both sides of angels. The dark side, this is the thing. People give you certain, not light so bright. They give you just a couple angels in the Bible, but there are levels of heaven, levels of all different types of angels. So you would have to go through this. This is a number one book I get into on when I want to break something down, find the name on both sides. This breaks everything down biblically because they give you these vague information. You really need to go into more of an in-depth process with that. So those books I read and use all the time, but Prayers That Rout Demons is probably the best book.
I have a little I don't know what you would call it, a mini prayer, and it's called The Scroll of Dissolving Black Plasma, which is programs negativity and all that stuff. Golden rose, burn gentle and bright. Cleanse these threads with source light. Let false smoke dissolve and melt. Restore what truth and love have felt. Anchored in earth, in heart, in star, no shadow clings. We shine as we are. So it is, so it blooms, so it shall be. That's just a little.
Yeah.
I thought awesome. It was kind of cute.
So, you want to come to a closing on the bell? Do you want to do that tonight?
Yes, good idea. Yeah, there aren't any more questions that I've noticed, so we'll ring the bell for the children's. And again, nobody talks about the children. Just like if you watched the video that I did earlier today about the article where they're proving all the things, there are some names in there that during the COVID thing that you thought were good people were not good people. So anyway, it's
okay.
I just give an overview of tip of the iceberg, and I give you the link where you can go get all the details yourself. So, and that's in the description. So at this point, let's do the bell ringing for the children. I don't hear anybody talking much about the children anymore either.
No, they're avoiding it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess all I can do is tell people to stay in the
Out
light.
of fear, find your faith. Stay in positivity, because you're going to see some things this week. Just hold the line. Stand in the line of fire.
That's definitely it. Hold the line is the best way of putting it. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you again soon. And stay out of fear.
Good night, guys. Stay in the light.
love world. Yeah.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show